Yo guys, welcome back to another video on TradingView, and for this video I'll be showing you guys a very powerful 93.2% 1 minute scalping strategy that involves the use of 3 indicators. But before we start this video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and also check out the link in the description to sign up for a Fairdesk account, which can get you up to $600. But anyways, let me show you guys the indicator that you'll be needing. First, you need your CM Ultimate multi-time frame. So just search this Ultimate Moving Average multi-time frame. That's your first indicator that you be needing. Next up is your cumulative delta volume, and last but not least is your CM RSI plus EMA. So you have to put the underscore between the CM and the RSI so they can find the indicator. So as you can see, this main strategy is about having the pullbacks, and then you're following the trend on the 1 minute time frame and looking for quick in and out scalps. So let's change the indicator. For the CM Ultimate multi-time frame, you do not need to change anything. Same for the CDV indicator, you do not need to change anything. However, for the CM RSI EMA, you have to change some stuff. You're going to change the EMA of RSI length to become 20. Off the upper line, lower line, and the background, you don't need that. For the EMA, you can change it to a proper line. Change the opacity up, make it thicker, and same thing here. Change the opacity up, make it thicker, and I'm going to make it white in color. And yeah, that is all you'll be needing to change, and let me show you how this strategy works. So for the first part of this strategy, what you'll be needing is your trend line and continuation. So what do I mean by that? So if you want to look for a short position, the price must be below this trend line, and the trend line must be red in color. And if you want to look for a long position, the price must be above the trend line, and the trend line must be green in color. Next up, what you'll be needing is your CDV indicator to be following what position you're taking. So let's say if you're trying to look for a long position, the CDV indicator must be green in color, and if you're looking for a short position, the CDV indicator must be red in color. For the third confluence that you'll be needing is you'll be waiting for a crossover of either the white line below the red line for a short position, or the red line or the white line crossing over the red line for a long position. So this is the first indicator that you'll be looking at when you're trying to enter a position. So let me show you guys an example of what do I mean by this. So let's look right here. We have a crossover of the white line above the red line, and we have a crossover of the white line below the red line. So what does this mean? This means that we are ready for a short position. So if we look at this crossover right here, it is on this candle where the crossover occurred. So we look at this candle. This candle just broke below the trend line, and the trend line is red in color. So that is your first confluence confirmed. Next, we look up on the CDV indicator. This is a red signal, which indicates that we should go short. And if we look on the CM RSI, show that there is a crossover, and that is a valid position for this candle right here. So if we look where we want to place our stop loss, you can place it anywhere. I'm going to be placing it right above the swing high, and I think this is the best way to put your stop loss for those that are using this strategy. For your risk to reward, you can take a 1:1, but I'll be taking a 1.5 because I think that for this type of scalps, having a 1.5 is quite reasonable, and most likely you'll hit your take profit. So right here, what you want to wait for before you take another short position is you want to wait for the crossover of the white above the red before it crosses down. Or you can also wait for the white to touch the red before it hits down. So what do I mean by the white touching the red? So let's look right here. We have the white line touching the red line over here, and over here as well. For this case, if you zoom in properly, this is not touching, but this is touching. So since it touched the red line, we want to look for a short position, and currently the trend line is red and the candle's price action is below the trend line, which means that it's valid. So we have one confluence, two confluence, but we look on the CDV indicator, you can see that it is a mix of green and red candles. And what does that mean for us? It means that currently the buyers and sellers are in a battle and there's not really a clear direction, and these are the type of trades that you want to avoid, where there's green red, so you want to avoid this type of action. But nevertheless, let's look for the next trade. We have a crossover of the CMRSI above and we have a crossover below. So let's look where the crossover occurred, and this is on this candle. So the candle is below the price action and the trend line is red in color, so that is your first confluence. Secondly, you look at your CDV indicator and it shows that it's a red candle. Second confluence, and we have a crossover of the white line below the red line, and that is your third confluence, so that is a valid entry right here. So if you're looking at this, you can see that the previous swing high is very small, and personally I would feel that when there's so small stop loss, most likely you'll get stopped out by fees and your bids and your asks, and just basically the spreads on exchanges. So you might want to use other indicators such as the ATR, or you can drag your stop loss to maybe a 0.5% and you try to take a 1.5. For the stop loss wise, if you want to have a set stop loss, it really depends on what pair you're trading. For this pair I'm trading Ethereum, so yeah. So let's try to look for long positions right now because the trend is currently changing. If we look here, this is another valid position because we have the crossover, we have the price breaking below the trend line being red, and we have a red signal on the CDV indicator. However, this will end up into a loss, but there's no worries. Let's look for another position. So we look right here, we have a crossover of the white below the red. First valid signal, CDV is red. Second valid signal, third valid signal is here where there's a breakdown of the trend line, where the price closes below the trend line and the trend line is red. So third confluence, and we'll enter right there. So here we will look for an entry long because we have a crossover, but since the price is below the trend line, that's not valid. So let's look for another valid position. Here the crossover below, but however since the trend line is green, that's not valid. So let's look for long positions, and here we have a long position signal. So we look at the chart carefully, we see that there is a crossover of the white line above the red line at this point right here on this candle. We look at the CDV indicator shows that it's green and the price is above the trend line, and the trend line is green in color. So that is your valid position to go long. So let's take a 1.5. Stop loss will be right below the swing low, same thing as previous. So let me show you guys one last trade. So if you look here, we have the crossover of the CMRSI above the red line, so there is a signal to go long. Look at the CDV is green in color, another signal to go long, and the price is above with the trend line being green, so that is a valid entry, and you enter a position there. And there we have another win. So this strategy is relatively simple. You just want to look at your multiple indicators and just trade it based on there. I mean, if you guys just keep following the rules, definitely there will be losses such as this, but if you are able to know when to avoid the ranging markets just by looking at the CDV indicator, if you know that there's a lot of switching in the candle colors, such as right here we have red, green, red, green, it just suggests that it's ranging, and these are the type of trades that I will try to avoid, and I wouldn't have taken this trade if I was not following based on the strategy itself. But definitely use your market intuition together with this strategy, and you'll be able to have a very high win rate. So yeah, just follow this strategy and you'll be profitable. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys can help me out, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe as well, and check out my other videos. There's a lot more awesome videos that you can check out for trading strategies and others. So see y'all and goodbye.